Hello everybody, I'm Noah2 and welcome back. This is the second video for my meta decks, right? These are the decks that are sort of this weird blend between, like, you can kind of play them in solo queue, but you probably want to play them with a team. But these decks are just, in general, decks that accomplish a clear thing. They do a clear thing, like a melee deck that kills the horde, or a grenadier deck that allows us to blow things up with efficiency. These are decks that, yeah, accomplish a particular win condition, um, and the context of who you're playing it with is a little blurry, but what we do have context-wise is what act we're playing it in, because when you go and look at those other content creators and they go, look at this amazing, epic, super great grenade deck, but there's no movement cards in it at the right. The cards are not in the right order. I've seen content creators go, feel free to rearrange these cards in any order, but it's like that's your job. We came to you that you can guide us on how to do this deck, and you're telling me just pull cards out as you see fit and put different cards in and play this deck in the style that you like. It's like, that's not. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. In fact, the cards are ordered very specifically because the point of a deck is to help us beat a mission, right? And so if there's one card that falls into theme of our deck, but also is super critical or super helpful in helping us beat that deck, that card should be in that specific place so that you can pick it when you get there. Anyways, you'll see what I mean here. Grenadier, Act 1. Okay. Hazard Pay, double grenade pouch. I love it. You get to use it immediately, right away. All the grenades. Cross trainers, superior cardio, building up to the crossing. We don't have any extra movement speed, except for fire in the hole, which we pick at the crossing. And this is sort of like your get out of jail free card. We're kind of cutting the corner here, not having a more reliable move speed card. But when it comes to these grenades, the extra health is key. By the end of this deck, we're going to have 5 grenades, plus, maybe, depending on team upgrades or what our team gets as far as surplus pouches go. 5 grenades, though, means that you're going to have 100 points of temporary health sitting in your offensive slot, on top of how many pills you have. Right? That's a lot of health. That's a lot of temporary health. So we have cross trainers, cardio, and fire in the hole that get us prepared and set up for the crossing. Then we have bomb squad at clean sweep, and clean sweep is where, from that point on, you're pretty much consistently going to have ferocious cards, like 3 ferocious cards. I think it happens at the crossing too, but the crossing is about movement and not killing things. And then improvise explosives for bookworm. So at this point now, with bomb squad, you sort of catch up, and you get pretty dang close to killing a lot of the mutations on nightmare mode, especially with the direct hit. Improvise explosives, though, is going to pretty much guarantee that your grenades are going to be one-shotting tall boys, even if you miss a little bit. Then power reload. Because if we're using our grenades and our grenade damage to kill mutations, our next weakness, the thing that we want to round out about ourselves, because we all want to be happy, healthy, balanced people, is going to be dealing with the horde. And power reload is a great card, one of the few cards that actually makes whatever gun you're using better at crowd control, better at killing lots and lots of zombies that are endlessly streaming into you, because you're able to increase the max size of your magazine and keep shooting when the horde is on you. Then grenade pouch to carry on with the grenadier theme here. Wide mouth mag well to go with power reload, so now we can shoot more bullets and we can shoot more often to deal with the horde. So you're killing the horde with your gun and you're killing mutations with your grenades. Mandatory PT, because again at this point at Bad Seeds you're entering some very long maps that have a lot of running in them. Just a very generalized, this is like the solo queue card, because it's always going to be good at this point in time. Surplus pouches for more grenades, of course. Now this is something that I love. You might think this is a resource generation card. Would we want this card earlier in the deck? At the very least at Bad Seeds, because when you start at that checkpoint, that's the earliest chance you get to start generating resources. You're not wrong, but I do encourage like a loot less, move more mentality. But when it comes to Abandoned, you're going to loot the gas station. If you don't, what are you doing? Everything's within arm reach in the gas station, but there's a lot of loot spawns in the gas station. In fact, most of the time when I play Abandoned, there's usually at least one offensive item in the gas station already. Then we have offensive scavenger. So we have offensive scavenger. So hopefully more spawn in the gas station. Then you get to the infested house. And again, another place that has lots of loot spawns, and you're going to be spending a lot of time there. And then you have the second house, where you could potentially stabilize and loot that house, right? That's 3 locations that have multiple loot spawns, all in places where your grenades are going to be at a high premium, because holding out against the horde in the infested house is super easy until a tall boy shows up, and then you need to be able to deal with the tall boy, and then you're going to deal it with your grenades. So if offensive scavenger means that you can get 1 extra grenade on Abandoned, the map where that's most intensive as far as your grenade use goes, that's huge. That's super huge. And even if you don't have an extra grenade, maybe you get an extra Molotov or a flashbang. A flashbang is going to be just as good as a grenade in those scenarios, because you flashbang the tall boy and then your team focus fires. And you can flashbang and then Molotov, or Molotov and then flashbang, and you get some extra burn time on the tall boy while he's stunned. The extra 6 seconds of burn damage, things like that. So this card isn't about generating lots of resources over time and getting lots of value. This is a card that's going to be very critical in helping you beat a hard map. Because again, the point of the deck is just to help us beat missions. And this card right here is going to help you beat Abandoned, hands down, because there's so many opportunities to loot. You're going to be holding out in places that you are going to loot. So it just goes like hand in hand. Hand in hand. And as any amount of extra throwables on that map is huge, 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 huge. Then we have canned goods. You just need to not die. Because at the very least, worst case scenario, the person on the field cannon should just always be doing the field cannon. So even if it means you're throwing your body in way of a tall boy, trying to kite a tall boy away from the field cannon, trying to call the horde away, and just taking damage with your body, that all equals time for the field cannon person to do their thing. So just the longer you're alive, the longer you're shooting your power reload and your wide mouth magwell, and you throw all your grenades and then you throw your body at it, you're going to buy as much time as possible for the field cannon person. You just need to not die. Awesome. Grenadier Act 2. Act 2 is a little bit different. Act 2 is a little hard as far as splitting between the two. So this deck really won't work in solo queue, but it'll work great on a team setting. So if you're working with bots, you're going to struggle a little bit with this deck, but Hazard Pay, Double Grenade Pouch, you know why. If you don't know why, how do you not know why? Cross Trainers, and then Superior Cardio to help us deal with the Armory. Just nice bit of stamina to help you move and groove when you need to. Bomb Squad for Pipe Cleaners, because now we're in a very confined space. Having our grenades almost kill tall boys. Very, very, very nice. Improvised explosives. Now our grenades will for sure pretty much kill all the tall boys. Fire in the Hole for Trailer Trashed. This is a map that is really better to speedrun on the second half. You can play the first half normally, and then I recommend that you run through Trailer Trash. And this is, again, just extra health. Fire in the Hole is going to be in all these decks, because turning your grenade into a pain pill is just, I think it's huge. It's so much health. It's a ton of health. And then Grenade Pouch for Broken Bird, for the Clog, just for more consistency. And now, because it's Act 2, and we're actually going to be preparing for the boss rush at the end of Act 2, grenade training. I actually don't have Demolitions Expert first, because here you really shouldn't be grenade dumping the breaker. The breaker is better to kite around. So you're going to need your ammo basically on Broken Bird to shoot your gun, because you're going to be using your grenades again to kill mutations and shoot things with your gun. Shoot the common with your gun. So we want as much ammo capacity as possible, because this can be a very long-winded mission. If things don't go correctly on Broken Bird, then it can take a long time. So you're going to need that extra 15% ammo. Now we get into the damage for Heralds of the Worm, Part 1, extra 50%. Chemical Courage, there's no glass cannon here just because we can't afford it. We can't afford it. You have one paid pill, 60 seconds, pop the pills at the correct time, do a crap ton of damage. Now down in front. This looks a little weird, but this deck is based off of the idea that your team is going to hold out in the church. And whether you do the flashbang strategy and keep everything stunned at the church entrance, or if you have one bot maybe and you can sort of bait the bot out in front and let the breaker. Either way, the breakers have gotten into the church, or you have somebody at the front of the church door, etc., etc. The point is, when you throw your grenades inside the church, you're crouched and you're not going to kill your teammates. Because when the breakers get in there, you're going to want to grenade dump them. And if you grenade dump them and then kill your teammates, and if the breaker or both the breakers have a little bit of health left, you're going to want your teammates spam shooting them, you know what I mean? Just a little safety thing. Basically a little safety thing to help you not kill your teammates when you're holding out in the church of Act 2. Act 3. Act 3 is going to be about nothing too huge, though we are going to be building up a little bit to killing the ogre at the end of Act 3. But Hazard Pay, Grenade Pouch, Cross Trainers, Bomb Squad. Now it happens in Act 2 where you start getting ferocious mutations on the first mission of Act 2, and Act 3 is no different. So we're going to start off with Bomb Squad, finally. And this is going to allow us to basically get maximum value out of our grenades very early, improvise explosives, almost guarantee that no matter the tall boy, he will die. Fire in the hole because it's infinite health almost. And then Grenade Pouch and Superior Cardio. We have the Superior Cardio here just because if anything goes wrong with your team, you're going to have Cross Trainers and Cardio to have just the most basic tools to possibly run some crates to the truck if you have to. But ideally with this deck, you're one of the two players who's chilling on the staircase. And when a mutation shows up, you blow it up, and then you and your teammates are holding the staircase with your guns. Or if you have a melee guy. And again, surplus pouches for this is what a friend in need. Yeah. And then just again, grenades because we're Grenadier deck. Grenade training, demolitions expert. We get the ammo capacity reduction later, just because we just don't want to risk running out of ammo and be able to provide ammo to our teammates. And there's no real need to kill the ogre in making the grade. You can just leave the gym and come back in a different entrance and kite him away. Demolitions expert though, because now we're building up to being able to kill the ogre at the body dump. And then run like hell, because there's a lot of movement in the body dump, or a lot of opportunity for movement. So basically, you're gonna get the first ogre gassed up with the T5, run past him, pop all the nests, and then go find him. And hopefully, the ogre being gassed up with the T5, plus your grenade training stuff and whatnot, you should be able to grenade dump the ogre pretty good. It definitely won't kill him, but at least half health at the least, but probably more. I haven't tested this deck particularly on Nightmare mode, but this will work. And this will give you all the tools necessary to hold out on T5, hopefully for long enough as your teammates do things, and then give you the movement you need and just extra grenade damage to kill the ogre at the end of Act 3. Grenadier for Act 4. Cross Trainer, Superior Cardio, that basic foundation for movement. I think it's pretty much good on every deck, no matter what. Fire in the hole, rolled health. All the pouches, grenade, double, surplus, and shoulder bag. Just tons of health, tons of resources. Bomb Squad, explosives. So ideally, you're not necessarily burning your grenades here on just tall boys alone, though you could. Having all this extra damage gives you the luxury of, if you do need some extra damage, you're really close to killing this. You know, you can chunk the worms pretty good, or pop one of those um, weak spots on the abomination and things like that. Like your grenades, we have this because we want the option of being able to throw our grenades at the abomination as well. But we're not going to have infinite grenades. There's going to be a lot of strain on our grenade usage here because it's, you know, endless hordes from start to finish. So we are going to have hyper focus, just so that if we do run out of grenades, or we have the luxury of time and we don't need to use our grenades on the weak spots, then we can get some value out of hyper focus. Reckless strategy, chemical courage, and then poultice. Poultice and the shoulder bag is just for extra value and health, just durability. You just need to survive long enough to throw all your grenades and just be nice and durable. But also chemical courage. So if you are going to throw your grenade at the abomination, pop these pills first. Pop your pills first 100% of the time, even if you don't necessarily need them. The extra 25% damage on your grenades are going to be critical to doing huge amounts of damage to the abomination to speed things up and potentially clutch some things if you have to. And that's it. That's the Grenadier deck. It's just, you can see, very core concept of just we have strong grenades from start to finish, and you sort of mix in some act-specific things to complement it for that particular scenario or particular mission. I'm quite proud of Offensive Scavenger on 13 for Abandoned. I think it's brilliant. I think you guys should try at least this deck out, or at least try this concept out. Running scavenger cards on particular maps and not being so fixated on doing the resource generation cards earlier in your deck, because I mean, heck, you might have offensive scavenger here. I mean, we have hazard pay here, but the reality is you're not going from 1/1 all the way to Rolling Thunder. You're going to get the bad seeds and get wiped and then go back to bad seeds. So I'm only generating hazard pay on 4 missions, which I still value highly. But so don't be super fixated on putting these resource cards as early as possible, because as early as possible is only as early as your last checkpoint. And we just need to beat the mission at hand, so that's the point. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you guys found these helpful or insightful. Let me know in the comments if anything makes sense or doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the future.